All right. Okay, so today we're going to make it a little bit more of a theory style class. Hmm. Uh, on here, spend a little time going through information processing. So that's one of the unit that we haven't um, written any hardcore content on. So I just want to spend a few time just talk over some of the terms. So this is more kind of a definition, kind of explanation part of the teaching of the IT CSEC curriculum. Next week, I hope to spend some time doing trace table. So that's going to be what we do next week, Saturday. All right, cool. So, first part, just want to go off and talk. So today we're going to be looking, as I said, at some various information processing terms and what they actually means. All right, to start off, we want to start with the most obvious of them, which is data. What is data? And this is usually like a multiple choice question. Could be paper two as well for persons doing paper two, where you're asked to distinguish between data and information. Now, one of my obvious definition is always it is raw, unprocessed facts or figures. And if you look on some of the examples we have here, if I was to hand you a sheet of paper with John, Sarah, Mike on there, the next question you'll probably be asking is, why have you given me these names? Why? Because you have not been given any context. There's no background. There's no understanding as to what John, Sarah, Mike are. We don't know if they're students. We don't know if they are criminals. We don't know if they are teachers. We know nothing about them. And so, yes, they are factual, but they are just data because we don't know what they are. Similarly with 45, 67, 89. What are those? We don't know. We don't know if that's referring to the number of cars, the number of homes, the number of students attending a school, the number of students doing CSEC IT. We have absolutely no clue. And that in itself makes it data. Similarly, data can also be dates, right? So if I gave you another list with 12 of the 3, 2026, like you're waiting to find out what about it? What's going to happen on that day? What is it about? What are you trying to say? So we aren't clear what it is, and that makes it data. Could also be a list of scores, exam scores. Yeah. You might know their exam scores 70, 85, 60, but whose exam scores are they? What exam did they do? Which exam board are they studying at? We are still not clear. And so that makes it data. So any bit of unprocessed data that we have that lacks context and meaning, which means we're unable to use it without context, we cannot arrive at some meaning. It's just there. And so that we call data. So some points to point out there is that data have no meaning on their own, unlike they are on their own until they are processed. All right. Now, as we said, data can be numbers, it can be symbols, can be words, can be measurement, can be exam scores, can be just about anything. So anything I receive without context, without enough information so as to be able to use it, decide what to do, is simply classified as data. Now, next. So the next term that comes under information processing that we want to be clear on is information. Now, again, information is now the opposite of data. This one has been given meaning, it has context. We know exactly what it is, all right? So for example, the average exam score is 72%. We could arrive at that conclusion by what? Having given you an assessment, and we look at what are the students' grade, and we have measured it, done some mathematics, and we realize that most of our students are scoring around 72%. That's data we can use. We could well say, hey, we need to be planning more revision activities. Notice we are using the information because it has meaning. We can now decide that we need to do some more revision to make sure we can get students to get around 90%. We want most of our students to be scoring 90%. We could also look, having given you an assessment, we could have come to the conclusion that when we look at it, we are sure that John actually scored the highest mark in the exam, right? What that means is that we, as teachers, can now use that piece of information to make decisions. Maybe, why is it that John has outperformed everybody else? Is it that all the students did well? Is it that John is just outstanding? It might just mean, do I need to revise mostly for the other students and maybe give John some independent work so John can go away and practice and the rest of us can seek to improve performance. So what we're seeing there is information helps us now to make proper decision because we have context, we have understanding, we are clear as to what it is. All right. Another bit of information could be that we observe that sales increase. I'm running a little shop and I realized that since March, our sales are up by 10%. That's provable. There's context. We understand it. And so we can make decision. We can make decision like, hey, I'm going to expand my business because since we are increasing in sales, it means we have more customers. So maybe we need to keep offering. It could be that my customers like the items that we are selling, and so they are deciding to flock. Or it could just be the season. Maybe there's something special happening in March. Maybe what I am selling is Easter bun, and we're about to approach Easter, and so people are interested in bun, and that is why our sales have gradually increased. That would mean that I need to make a proper decision as to not increase production of buns beyond April because the season is going to go and people are no longer going to be interested in bun as they were in this particular season. So as you know, we have clear understanding. We can use the information. So if I could define information, the information is processed or organized data that has meaning and is useful. And as I said before, it helps people to make decisions. It helps them to understand something, all right? That is what we classify as information. Now, if I was to sum this up in a table to kind of look at when I'm studying for my CSEC exam, I want to know the difference between the two because in a worst case scenario, I could be asked to distinguish between the two or to give two characteristics of information or two characteristics of data or describe data. Now, this is definitely what I want to be pointing out, all right? When it comes onto technology, it is data is raw facts and figures. It doesn't have any meaning by itself. And it is usually the input that we put into a system. Let's think about when you're writing a program. Right? You enter some numbers, you enter a name, you enter a place into your program. That's data, all right? Good. Information now is processed data, meaning it's meaningful, it's useful. Let's think about your program. Maybe you entered a few numbers and then you wanted to find the sum. So information is usually outputted. So the output of that program becomes information because it is saying that the sum of the two numbers that were entered is XYZ. So that now becomes information. All right. Let me know if persons have questions as I am going through. Now, next. We now need to look at what are some of the sources of data and information. Obviously, data comes from different sources, and by sources, we're just looking at where is the information coming from, where is the data coming from. So the first obvious one is people. We get data and we get information from people. All of you are in class today, and I hope that I will be giving you some information. Or it could be that I've passed on some data to you. All right, so data and information can come directly from people. Yes, and some examples of those would be let's say you went to the tax office and you're given a form and you're asked to fill in these information, put in your TRN number, put in your date of birth, put in your first name, your last name. All of that by themselves are pieces of data that you are filling into a form. So everybody gives away or at some point are sources of data. All right. Police could be doing an investigation. They heard that someone got burned with gasoline. And so they went back to the gas station to find out what is happening. Give me some data, what actually happened, who started it, how long did it prolong? Who else was present? That's police collecting data and ultimately will be able to process the data to form information, which can then be handed over to the prosecution, the DPP office, who then now have enough evidence or enough information that they can use in a courthouse to try and prove the case, to find out if Miss Claudette was innocent or she was guilty. All right, cool. Employees can also, from time to time, let's think about a school. A teacher is an employee. From time to time, teachers are asked to provide reports. All of you this week, I had to provide some form of report to Miss Millen. Tell Miss Millen what is going on. Tell her that Jade is not coming to class on time and Jade is not doing enough work and that I'll enjoy picking on Jade. Just need to get that bit in. I am providing report. That's data. That's information that is passed on. Yes, I enjoy picking on Jade.
Why me? What of everybody else in class? Me.
I just think that you are worthy of being picked on,
I'm not. I don't
like,
think so.
yeah, I just think
I
you're
think Adam and
born
Malik
for
would
this
like. I think Adam and Malik would like a chance, or
to
if
be
with
picked on.
Yanja or Ashani, I think they would love a chance to get picked.
Love to be picked on.
I think they would love a chance to get picked
All
on.
right, put up your hands if you all agree. Yes, any vote, put your hand in the chat if you would like to be picked on by Mr. Roberts. So put up on a hand. Put up on a hand. That's us collecting data right there, by the way. Let's hear from you all. Is there
Just put
anybody
up,
on here who is dying to be picked on by me?
just put
Anybody?
up your hands. Just put. See, Adam said yes.
Adam says he says nothing. He's actually removed his mouth. He's definitely
Adam,
said no.
Ashani.
See, there you go. Ashney is saying she's fine. Look at us collecting data right now. Right. There you go. See, everyone seems to be fine. That means Jade, well, yeah, you're just the person to be picked on. Yes, nice, good. So we'll keep on doing it for Jade. All right. We have a vote, and the whole class agrees that Jade is perfect for this. All right. That means I was around. All right, there you go. We have just collected feedback from the class. So we collect data from people. All right, there you go. We just collected a bit of informal survey and questionnaire. We collect information as well at an interview. So you want to be able to give practical examples. Let's say you are doing this as a paper 2 question, right? When someone has an interview, you are there, persons want to confirm the information that you have submitted. Where were you born? What school did you attend? How well did you do? What subjects did you specialize in school? What other what's your career plan for the next 10 years? Where do you see yourself progressing in that company over a 15-year period? Is this a long-term adventure or is it a short-term adventure? All of that, you're trying to gather data from people, information likewise from people. All right, nice. Not yet, Deandra. I'll post it there shortly. All right. Yeah. So I'll post it. I'll make sure it's posted. All right, cool. So here's so yeah. So let's say in your paper 2 exam, they ask you to write an example, of someone collecting data or information. It could be a company may collect customer names addresses, and feedback from people, right? Whether those are customers or they are people who are working for them. Now, we want to move on to another source of data. Now, data can also be collected from places, all right? I told you the story when I was going to school. We never had access to internet widely like you guys have now. You guys have been so spoiled. You know, you have internet. I hear teachers complaining that English students are using AI to write their essays because students have widely become lazy. They have found places and so many different technology whereby they can access information. But people like myself used to have to go to the library and stand in there for long, inconvenient times. And then you used to have some troublemaker students like Jade, who would go in the library and tear out the pages. And so by the time we get, the book cannot be found and we didn't have access to it. So there are some places that we can get information from. Schools, yeah. I could definitely call this Westwood and ask about Jade. How's she doing in school? You know, is she one of them who gives a lot of trouble in class? You know, is she a talkative student? You know, is she one of the ringleaders? You know, we could all do that. Or we could go to the hospital, yes, and we want to find out, yes.
Another piece of information that could be used, you could also say, you know, does Deandra walk around as much as the other students? Or does Ashane participate in a
I,
lot of sports as other students? Does
Yeah,
Malik and Adam, you know, do
yeah,
they
Shadi,
participate?
which sports are there to participate in?
yeah. Right. And we could find out which of you are the bullies around school.
Yes, Jade, which one of us are the bully?
Deandra, we will not talk about this. Remember, we don't bring Westwood into this.
The angel look
Our
like
after Westwood
she's
is
scared,
different.
you know. The
Our
angel look
after
like one of
Westwood
the
is different.
typical person who is normally scared. So she's not capable of bullying. Jade definitely look like someone who would bully. No, I
I'm
don't.
not a bully. I'm not a bully. I'm not.
Yeah. Even Ashani could be the second bully around, you know, maybe just, yeah, that's it. Yeah, same thing with the hospital, yeah. So give me a scenario. Tell me some data you could collect at a hospital.
The amount of patients who were admitted this week.
Nice, good, lovely. Give me some others. What the other person them there? Adam, one of there. Tell me some data on a can collect a hospital. Where are my people? Where's Malik and company?
The age of persons.
The age of persons. Why you go hospital go ask the people age? That's unlike something where you ask parents.
Persons who have heart attacks.
Yeah, number of people had heart attacks. Yeah,
Type of sickness
the
instead.
type of illnesses. There you go. Good. Wonderful. All right, let's now go to the government offices. Let's think about the tax office. What kind of information could you find out at the tax office?
The place, the parish in Jamaica where most people pay their taxes.
Yeah, we could have go find out people business. Yeah, see it? Nice. Good. All right, nice. I wonder what we could have find out over Jade house. How could we go to
Sure.
Jade's house to find out?
Sure. You can find out how many of my family members think I'm a bully.
I think all.
No.
Yeah, we could definitely find out the number of pets she has. No, she don't look like somebody have pets still.
I do have a pet. His name is Brown Man. Where is he?
Brown.
Yes,
Brown
Brown Man. Where's Brown Man?
What?
He's a dog, and he
Oh my
walks around the
God.
house sometimes. Where is he?
Not such, my God. What? Why are you scandaling Brown Man?
Because
Why would you give your pet Brown Man? Is he a man? Why you
yes,
calling him Brown Man? Why not
he's a
Brown
man.
Dog?
He's a man dog, and he's
Well,
brown.
I
I
man
didn't
dog.
name him. I
Me never
didn't
see
name
man
him.
dog yet. Me see male dog. Me not understand.
I didn't name him. I just got the name.
So why never call him brown male or brown dog? Why
I
brown
don't
dog?
know. Ask the person who named him.
No, I just think that's an assault on men, as the society normally do. Yeah, it's an assault on men. Why would you call a dog
But
a man?
sir, but sir,
Especially
men nowadays
like how
call
them sing
themselves
song in
a
Jamaica
dog.
about all dog like we.
Sir, but even men
No,
nowadays out the road call themselves dog. So a dog can be called a man too, if
no,
you
man, I
think
appreciate
about
that.
it.
Me no want me no want a dog name no man. Me I know dog and no size. All right, guys, can you comment now? Tell me some other places that we might be able to get information from. Some other places other than what we have discussed. Some other places that we might be able to get information from.
A hotel.
Hotel. Well, we can find out a hotel.
The amount of persons who came to the hotel
Amount of people who visit the
today.
hotel. Yeah. So we can find out also when them have them next, what you call it, discount. So, yeah, what is their cheapest rate? And like how people like Jade come from a rich family, we can see the most wealthiest rate, you know what I mean? Yeah. Them thing there.
I
You know
won't
what I
say no. I won't say no.
mean? Yeah. So yeah, Adam, what can we find out from a mining plant? Oh, yeah. Different kinds of ores, yeah. Extracted and the amount. Nice. Look like you're into geo, Look like you're into geo. All right, cool, nice. I saw Malik, yes, statin, the number of persons who are actually employed. That's a very good one. Because from time to time we hear the Jamaican government say unemployment is down. So we want to actually know what the raw number. Because I mean, like percentage. Percentage, can be deceiving at times. It's like I have seen, teachers normally bragging in Jamaica how many passes they have. And they normally use a percentage, but when you check it, there are some schools who only send up 2 students to pursue that particular subject. So if the two of them pass, that's 100% pass in the subject, which is very deceiving because the reality is only 2 students did the exam, whereas another school may have sent up like 115 students and yeah, 110 pass, and they are going to have a lower percentage pass than a school who send up 2. So percentage can be quite deceiving. Yeah. Oh, you're into agriculture, so you're planning to go to Case. All right, nice. All right, good. All right, yeah, exactly. Tell me some other places. You guys are in year 11 somehow now. What are some other places you might need to gather information from? Come on, think about your career.
You
Yui, yeah, what would you
to
want to
do
know about
do
Yui?
like what is the medical program like, and
Yeah,
the things you need to do, your application,
nice.
yeah, requirements
Awesome.
and such.
Yeah, excellent. There you go. So we literally gather information just from about everywhere, different places, and we collect information for different purposes according to our needs. So that's kind of like what this topic is about. Recognizing the need for information and where can we get those information and what kind of information we actually need. All right, now we can also gather data from things. All right. So for example, if I want to know the temperature, yeah, me need a thermometer. Want to know the time, me need a clock. All right. If I want to know the price of an item, maybe me need a barcode scanner. Right. Um, maybe I want to have a copy of a place that I visited, a place I went to spend my summer, like how some people they travel go foreign. Yeah, that's it. I need a camera, of course. And yeah, it could also be that I want to find out if there's anybody walking around my house. So I put a sensor to gather that information. Can you tell me some other things that may communicate information or data?
Sir, a medicine bottle tells you how much you should take per age group.
Fabulous. Well done. Great example there. Any other? Another thing that we can gather data or information from. Come on, people. When you go to the doctor, what do you get? Electronic scale. What can I find out using an electronic scale? Why is my class quiet? Too quiet. Register. We can find out attendance, That's a good idea, Malik. We're going to start take attendance, to make sure that Jade always come to class, and not just Jade, Deandra too. Make sure they always come to class.
Okay, good.
And
We are the
Ashan.
only person you could call on, Sir Jade and Deandra. Sir, I've called on
Always a common name. I don't know. What did I do? Danger, what did I do?
I
What?
don't know what.
Yeah, people normally pick on the boys. So I'm kind of like trying to balance the scale here. Good.
Exactly.
Yeah. Balance the scale. Want to pick on the girls and not the
If you look
boys.
at it, sir, we are here and he's not here.
He's not here. All right. We're going to deal with it. All right. So the electronic scale is how much pounds or what is the weight of something or someone. Well done on that. When you go to the doctor, what do they give you?
A prescription.
Nice. Isn't that a thing that you take to the pharmacy and the a pharmacist or pharmacologist? Which one of them? Either. They're the ones who check to see what the doctor wants you to get and what your illness is, and they can also compare that with what their training says and determine if that's a suitable medication. Good. Yeah. Historical books, that's a thing, of course. We can find out information from different historical figures. Fabulous. So all of these that exist are things. We could go into the technological space. It could be some apps that we get information from. Tell me some apps that we can get information from. Those are regarded as things as well. Can you tell me some apps that I might be able to get information from, and what information can I get from that app? Good morning, Katrina. Haven't seen you in 10,000 years. Welcome back. Welcome back. I hope no one says I'm picking on the girls. That's just a fact. No, that's just a fact.
So you are picking on the girls. I haven't heard you call Adam or Malik's name all this time.
Because Adam and Malik have been providing so much solid responses.
But sir, I provide solid responses
Sir,
to every class, and you still pick on me.
Exactly.
You still pick on me.
There's only two boys.
And
It
should be equal.
Yeah, but they are
fighting for equal
scarce.
rights.
The boys are
sir.
scarce at the moment, scarce species. I have more girls than
That's
boys.
okay. That's okay. You can still call on them and
You'll stress them out, and then we'll not see them again.
sir, you will
sir,
see
since
them
there
again.
are less men than women, you should call on them more to increase their productivity.
Right.
I think they're very productive.
No, sir, they're not.
I'm going to stick up for them now. They're quite productive.
No, sir, they're not.
Okay,
not.
sir.
They're not. Let's be honest. Adam, stop laughing.
Adam, stop laughing. It's not funny.
It's not funny. It's not that funny.
All right. So tell me some apps now, please. Can you all, you ladies and gentlemen, be a little bit more productive right now and share with us some apps that we can gather information from?
Gmail.
Gmail. Where you get from Gmail? Gmail is an email. Where you get from there?
Sir, when someone emails something to you, they're basically sending you something that you have to look on. So you're getting
Nice. So they
information.
send you information. Yeah. Me, like how me I send your email from a week, I'm not hear back from you. But I'm a scandal nobody today, no. I ain't picking on you, Ashni. I am not. Let me go and pick on Malik. See, Malik says JPS app, it could provide the amount of electricity that was used, obviously cost that you have outstanding. Adam says apps that track your daily steps. That's fabulous. Cool. Flow app. What Flow app give you, Deandra? What can I get from Flow app? Come on, Jade, hurry up and speak. So I want to pick on you. We not hear from you yet.
Okay, sir. You have Fire Stick app that you can use to control the TV.
But what kind of information may I actually get from that door?
You get to see the types of channels that are on the TV and which apps you can use that are located on the TV.
Nice. Fabulous. All right. Deandra, we don't want to pick on you. You haven't told us what we get from Flo yet.
I was talking
Katrina,
about
we haven't heard from you yet. Yes, go ahead, Deandra, please.
Sir.
Go ahead, Deandra. What do we get from Flo?
Sir, it tells you how much the internet come up to. Basically, the cost over the months.
Nice. Okay, so I tell you your outstanding or your due amount. Thank you very much, Deandra, for being very productive. All right. Thanks. All right. So next we now want to go and talk about some different types of documents. So not only must we know the sources, we must now know the different types of documents that exist. And the first one we're going to speak about is a turnaround document. Now, a turnaround document is a document that is sent from one company and later returned with additional information. All right. So an example, a utility bill could be sent to a customer. The customer fills in payment details and returns part of it with the payment. Can I ask you to give me an example from your school? Tell me a turnaround document that your school often give you at school. Why does it sound like I'm going to have to pick on someone? And I don't want to be accused of that any longer. Permission slip. Nice. Well done, Adam. So, teacher, why we so that go on like them not get permission slip? Oh, them not asking if you go
And
no
we
way?
don't. We don't
We not actually not get asked to go no way. Oh my gosh.
No, sir, they send us places, but we don't get permission slips.
We don't get permission slips.
Only get
We just
permission
sign
slip?
something at the start of the school year, and then we're allowed to go on any trip as long as we get
Also,
permission, as long as our parents tell us that we
Yeah.
have.
on the studious bad. Studious. Right. Permission slips. Normally you get like a letter that explains where the child will be going from, what time, who will be supervising, what they're going there for, what time they'll be leaving, what time they're expected to return, all of that information. And then we ask you to nicely affix your signature so that we know that you are permitting your child to actually go. So when your child go and book off him tour, you can't say that the school took your child without permission. All right, so that is an example of a turnaround document. Does anybody know any other example of a turnaround document? Questionnaire, fabulous. I like that. Yeah. So you send out a questionnaire, you want people to fill it, complete it, and return to you. Turnaround document. Nicely. Any other? Somebody from Westwood, please. Coupons. Yeah, nice. A check, obviously. So you get a check you get after you get check after you eat a restaurant.
Sir, you also have the vouchers that you have to carry back in.
Hold on with the voucher part there. Me want to get something clear. Adam said check. Adam, no, but I'm a pick for you know. Adam, check after you eat, you get a check. Tell me whether restaurant they come in that life get a check when we don't eat. So it sounds more like you're talking about maybe the say again.
It's a bill.
Yeah, it's a bill. It's a bill, Adam, not the check. It's a bill, Adam. It's a bill. It's a bill. Yeah. Cause we don't want to find a restaurant, you know. Cause I know honestly, me not come to Jamaica come find them. Cause but I always I eat. Cause I get a check every time we eat. It's cool, nice. Well done, no problem, Adam. We need to make those mistakes here so we don't make them in the exams. That's absolutely fine.
Two ice mint for the check, sir.
Say again.
Sir, they give you 2 ice mint for the check, sir.
Twice mint for the check. All right, cool. Yeah, Jade, you were explaining one of them. Come back. Tell
I
us.
said vouchers, because you know you get the voucher to go home with, and then you come back and you have the information on the voucher.
Nice.
Yeah.
Fabulous. All of those are great examples of turnaround documents. All right. This is usually a multiple choice question, by the way. So nonetheless, we go through it. All right. Now we're going to talk about human readable forms and note important for term in that is form, which is usually something where people are actually complete in a sense. Well, anyways, so a human readable form is a document designed to be easily read and of course understood by people. All right. So for example, any document that you get that as a human being, you can read, you can understand that is considered human readable. So even the check and the voucher and the invoice and all the other things that you mentioned earlier, those are also classified as human readable. It just means people can understand it. So an example would be letter. It could be a report that you get, that your parents get concerning your performance. It could be an application form that you are given to complete. It could be receipt. Any of those are considered human readable. So anything at all where human being can read is human readable, which then means we have the opposite of human readable, which is machine readable. All right, we'll give you some of them. So a barcode label on a book, if you check that, that's why the machine, when you put it before the machine go beep, because the machine reads, one, what item it is, who is the manufacturer, what is the price of it, all of that is stored on there. You need a machine barcode reader, to be specific, that does the reading for that. I still believe this is what they do in Jamaica because you guys do multiple choice exams, yeah? They use machines to read that, and that would be an optical mark recognition. Now, what the machine does is look for where the shade is, and that is why they'll tell you in the exam to make sure that you're shading and look at something that is provided. Don't shade out of it. Don't shade the thing big, subtly all giant to answer because the machine will get confused and the machine is going to mark it wrong and you are not going to do as well as you had hoped for it to actually do. Another one could be a check. Yes, they use a special type of reader called an MICR that they use to read that the check to make sure that it is accurate, it is real, it's not bogus, as we'd say in Jamaica. All right, so the key here is that it is read by machine. Can I get some other examples of machine readable documents? Please don't let me hear I am picking on people from Upper Knox or people from down West Sud or people from over York Castle or people from Marcus Garvey. Please, please. Give me some other example. Yeah, well done with that, Adam, of course. That's why them ask you for use. What pencil want to use name? H1B or something like that. Yeah, cool. Yeah, ID card. So usually inside of the ID card, it has so the document in it is actually the thing in it is the RFID chip, right? That reads and verifies your identity. And that is why some of those that, some of those that ID cards that used to open doors. You walk up to it and go beep, beep, and you're gone. Good. Come on, guys. There's another one starting with Q. Nice, Adam. Adam is banging, of course. QR code. That's another one. All right. So that is read by a machine. So any of those is classified as turnaround. All right. So the other type of document that we need to speak about is hard copy. And hard copy just mean it is physical. It means you can touch it. It is something that is tangible, something where you hold in your hand. So anything that you hold in your hand is classified as hard copy. All right. So your exam paper that you'll get to do will be hard copy. All right. A report, an exam paper, as I said, it could be a paper receipt that you receive. That is hard copy. So it's physical form of paper. All right. Okay. Oh, Deandra, you must say mad. Good. Now let's talk about soft copy. So hard copy is the opposite of soft copy. So if one is physical and you can touch it, that means the other one is just digital. It is electronic. Most places now are giving you digital electronic version of receipts. Right? Most places. Most places. So I believe, you can tell me if me wrong or me right. JPS bill now, is it soft copy? Tell me if me wrong or me right. Oh, me skip past. Oh, I'm so sorry, Deandra. I apologize. You know, I because I must stop pick by you. So that's why I'm never. I am so sorry. I apologize. Can you confirm, tell me some other receipts? Do we get them, bills, do we get them as electronic? Let me know. What about land tax? Do we get those? Ask my parents, man. Do you guys get those as soft copy or hard copy? You know, talk to me now. Sure. Yeah. Wanna know buy on Amazon? Anybody in here shop on Amazon? Amazon. Do you guys get hard copy receipt or soft copy? Hello? Anybody shop on Sheins? You know, want scandal nobody, you know. Anybody shop on Timu? What you get for your receipt? Do you get a hard copy or do you get a soft copy? Let me know. Malik say it is soft copy, you know. Say Malik, the whole for shopping though. Yeah, you see it? Yeah, chat boy. You see, the men them look like them do more shopping than the women them. And then them a talk about me a pick. See, only the
I
Andra
think
one
they do,
shop
sir.
online.
I
Say
think
what?
I think they do. I think they do.
You think they shop more than you guys?
Yeah.
Oh. Are we experiencing a change in culture? Because from me, a born me here say women love shopping every minute, then they online a check for different things. All right, cool.
No, sir, the thing is that you do it once. You just order everything one time.
Oh, so you just spend a big money.
Yes, sir.
Oh, and we just take with time and buy as needed. Adam said, I just game him shop for. So Adam, you can't find a free game. You really have to spend money on game. All right, cool. So now we're going to look at how do we evaluate online information, because especially in an era where scamming is guaranteed, you know, and since certain people live in the scamming capital of the world, not calling any name, right? We have to be able to evaluate online information. One, we want to make sure they're authentic and make sure they're accurate. Is there a difference between accurate and authentic? I don't think so. You want to make sure they're current, that they are also relevant. And you also want to make sure that they are free of bias. So if you are a person who loves to listen to certain news media, you're going to think that the war down at Iran is a good thing. And if you are some certain people who just take anything that go online, you're going to think that everything that certain politicians do is a bad thing. We don't want to be able to do that. We are intelligent people. We want to first verify that something is authentic, it's real, it's genuine, yes? And we also want to make sure that this is something that is current, because people can reshare content and make it look like it's something you just say no, all right? You want to also make sure that whatever you're viewing, reading, consuming online, that it is relevant and also free of bias. So let's look at what each of those terms mean. Just a reminder. Okay. So authenticity refers to whether the information is genuine. And by that we mean, is it from a trusted source? All right. Is it from a trusted source? So how do we actually check the information? There are a couple of things we need to do. We need to identify who is the author or which organization is responsible for the information. Now, me no read Gleaner in Jamaica. I'm gonna read Star. Because I think Star have an agenda. I think Gleaner have an agenda too. Gleaner is designed to make some people look bad and some people look good. But kind of just thinks that them bias. Is there anybody who think them bias? Anybody in there? I want to read Gleaner. I want to read Star. Anybody? Give me some feedback. People over Westwood there. One of there. See why I always have picked on Jade. All right, Jade, talk to me now. Jade, what do you think? Do you think the Gleaner is always authentic, or do you think they write with agenda? If you look at some of those titles that they post at times.
Sir, okay. So I believe that they do write with authenticity, right? Because you have reporters that go out and gather the information and carry them back, right? However, some things that they might write would not be as authentic because it is, well, depending on the person that they speak to, it could also be fabricated.
Oh, okay, cool. So let me ask, is there any particular media in Jamaica, media house, that you think is more aligned to the government, and is there any you think is more aligned to the opposition party? Let's talk a little bit of innocent politics now. Yeah.
Repeat, sir.
Say again.
Repeat, sir, because
is there any news media in Jamaica that you think are more in support of the current government, and is there any you think that are more in support of the opposition party?
Sir, I think that the media just, well, most media just goes with what is trending rather than picking sides.
Picking sides? I don't know. I don't know. I think if I read something on Nationwide, I'm almost going to get an opposite perspective of that if I read the Gleaner, or if I read the Observer, for that matter. They're likely to, even with the fact that they are, reporting information, yes, they're getting from a source, but I think that most times the writers write with a certain perspective, If they want to support an ideology, they will write in that view. If they want to go against it, they'll go a certain way. All right, cool. But yes, authenticity now. So yeah, authenticity just means that the information is actually genuine. And I like that we're talking about the news media, because, people don't necessarily always have a right understanding, a right understanding of what actually took place, you know what I mean? And 10 people can have 10 different versions of how something, was done or what actually took place. For example, one of the biggest thing in the media right now is the whole young lady that lost her life to burn wounds. And there are so many different versions of what actually took place that led up to this. the news media, if they are being authentic, needs to gather all sides of the argument, present all sides, and then maybe, form an opinion based on the side that has the strongest, the strongest claims on there. But sometimes they, just because they are news media doesn't mean they always report the facts. They report their opinions, or they report what they have been told by a few people. So that is why things we hear on the news aren't always authentic. And we can always say that their job is not to investigate. Their job is really just to pass the information on. So when I read the newspaper, even though it's a legitimate organization, I still need to kind of be clear that this is authentic. And I'm well aware that it could be the reporter's bias, it could be the organization bias, or it could be lack of information. I'm seeing Adam there saying that it could just be people who just share them opinion based on the benefits that they can actually get. And so because of that, just because it's written in the Gleaner doesn't make it factual. I remember years ago when a student challenged me to say that, I was providing a definition, and she says, "No, sir, I'm telling her it's wrong." And she keeps telling me that, "No, I got it from Wikipedia. I got it from the internet." Even though I know that Wikipedia is not a verified source, because Wikipedia is just an open platform that anybody can actually edit and post. And in that particular time, I deliberately went in my Wikipedia account and alter a certain information and said I go research it. I should go back and write the same rubbish that me just put on there. And I just did all of that to prove to her that just because it is shared in a public space doesn't mean that it is accurate. So accuracy doesn't mean that because it's online or it's in a book that it is real, because people also write based on their own motivations, and those may not be true. So something is then authentic on the basis that it is provable. All right. There is a certain amount of facts that have been provided to verify that this is actually true. And so, yeah, and so we have to, when we read online or read books, we have to be clear that that is, what it is. Okay. So some things that we need to check. We need to check the author. We need to check the organization that is publishing it. If it's online, we need to check if the website belongs to a reputable institution. And I would argue that the Gleaner, nor Nationwide, nor any of those are necessarily from reputable organization. I think they are in the business of reporting news, and sometimes the truth is not what gets the most coverage. Sometimes it is the things that will drive consumer interest, and so people write based on that. So if I'm looking for things that are authentic, right, I'm going to search for research documents that have been published, whether by governments or by universities. And even with those, I'm still going to be checking for their own biases inside of them. All right. We also need to look in some of those writing. We need to look, where did they gather the information from? How did they come to the conclusion? So we want to look at their references. We want to look at the different citations that are included, the different quotation. Who is it that they include? All of that helps to verify authenticity. All right, cool. So an example would be information that comes from a government or educational website is usually more, and note I am saying usually more reliable, because as I said, that government can also provide misleading information that are not always factual for different purposes as well. All right, but they would be more reliable than something that you would get from a person who's just a blogger who doesn't have any system of check and balance in place. They are just reporting widely based on their opinions. All right, cool. So the other thing that we need to do when we are verifying online information, if they're accurate, we need to look at the currency. So something that was written in 1940, and as is not necessarily still true. For example, when I was going to school, we were taught that there were 9 planets. What have you guys been taught? Tell me, you geography students or social studies students, how many planets are there? What have they taught you guys? Where are my people? Hello. Also, wanna say?
Come on, geography or social studies students.
Many justice. Okay, go ahead and tell me, Jade. Let's pick on you.
Go ahead and
Oh.
tell us, Malik.
How many planets are there? What have they taught you in school?
Hold
Well,
on.
and they're not teaching something at school again?
No, they don't.
What an embarrassment.
I can say I'm a
It's
science
8.
student, but
It's 8.
Is it 8?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
And how many dwarf planets?
2, I think, Pluto and Mercury.
Can't be. I'm gonna check again. Me could have sure say you have something named Ceres. Come on, check. What is going on with these young people?
Five.
How many are there?
5.
Nice. So there is Pluto, there's Ceres, there's Eris, there's Amia, and there's Make. No, when I was going to school, there were nothing called dwarf planets. All right. And we just knew there were 9 planets. But I went to school in the early 2000s. High school, that is. In the early 2000s. So what we got as information then is not necessarily accurate on the basis that new information have arrived. New evidence is now on the ground. New astrologers came around, astronomers, I think, and they have said that when they look at Pluto, Pluto is actually not having its own orbit, but I think it is sitting on someone's orbit. I think that's the reason. The reason why they say it did not meet the requirement. So if I continue then to share that as fact, then I would be wrong, right? I would be wrong. So currency of information is also pretty important, very important that we check this. But any textbook that you would have gotten from somebody who has been around longer time than you would see Pluto as being a planet, or it would be the 9th planet, all right? So currency refers to how up-to-date information is. And how do we check? We look for the publication date. We look for the last updated date. We ensure the information reflects recent development and changes. Give another example here. Technology information from 2015 may not be reliable for current research. Yes, because lots of things have evolved and have changed over time. And so we need to give an appreciation for when the data was actually written. So the first thing you do when you go to a website is to look, is it a current website? Is it a website that has been updated recently? By default, the search engine should only return to your current website at the top because of something called PageRank algorithm. But you yourself should assess to make sure where you're actually getting the information from, all right? Now, relevance, again, is key. So just because something is accurate or current doesn't mean it is relevant to a particular subject. Relevance means the information is appropriate and related to the topic that you are either researching or you're interested in. And how do we normally check this? We determine if the information is if it directly answers the research question. What am I looking for? Does it actually answer the question I have? I have certain friends that I can't have a good discussion with because if I ask them a question, they'll give me an answer to something absolutely different. That's not relevant. That's not what I'm asking about. I have no interest in that. If we're talking about cars, I need information relating to cars and not trucks. And so we have to be able to see this. So we also need to check if the level of the detail is suitable. Another example is if we're researching climate change, a page about general weather is simply not relevant. We're simply looking at climate change. So that's another key for us to examine when we are looking or researching information. All right, good. Yes, Mali, CRAP, is that an acronym? Is it an acronym? Let me know. Let me know and tell me what it stands for. All right, we have a bias as another criterion that we use to check if information is relevant. So bias occurs when information is presented in a way that favors a particular opinion or viewpoint rather than being objective. And I find the news media in Jamaica to be like that. I think Diane Jackson Miller, any program she worked for, whether it's TVJ, I think she always leaned hard to one side of the political spectrum rather than just being an objective, balanced journalist. As I believe the same with Cliff Hughes when it comes out. So if I am going to try to understand what is actually happening in the government in Jamaica, especially with what is happening with the Cuban doctors and the fact that they are not, you know, that Jamaica is not renewing. If I go to the Gleaner is more in favor of the opposition party. They're going to say the government just wicked, and this is why them change it. That's what I expect to leave with. If I go to Cliff Hughes, they're more aligned with the government. They're going to make it look like, you know, government just never have no choice. So if I want a factual and objective opinion to form on the subject, I cannot read any of these sources. I need to find some form of independent journalist who is reporting the facts, who is not paid for by any of the following sites. That's very important. So, very important. So when we are reading arguments online, we need to look for balanced arguments. We need to check if the author is trying to promote a product, an idea, or even a political view. A website that is selling a product may only show positive information about it. When I used to go to school, an old person told me that, look here, a fisherman will never tell you that the fish is stink. No, they'll never tell you that. The fish is always good. They want you to buy the fish, and so you will always be told something good about the fish. All right, so bear that in mind. Let's look at what we have. So nice. So Malik is giving us a nice way to remember it. So currency relevancy, accuracy, authenticity, and also purpose. All right, good. Yeah, I think the one part that is missing is bias. Bias has to be involved in that. I don't know how we fit it in. So the next thing we're going to recap as it relates to information processing this evening is we want to know, how do we know when the data or the information is correct and also accurate? Now, there are two steps that we need to be familiar with. One of them is validation. Now, what is validation? It is really checking that the data that is entered is reasonable and that it follows the required rules or format. So validation doesn't check if the information is correct. Them just want to make sure that it follows a certain pattern. So for example, if you had an online form that you created that was supposed to only accept age between 0 and 120, that's all it's checking for. It's not checking to make sure the student age is accurate. It's just making sure that you enter a value that is 0 or up to 120. If you enter 128, it's wrong. And if you enter -10, it's wrong. But all it is doing is making sure that it is reasonable and that it follows the rules of engagement. All right, that's validation. Let's talk about date. Again, date is this is not checking if this is if this is necessarily the correct date. It just need to make sure that it is a number that is from 0, or rather from 1 to a maximum of 31. It's also going to check to make sure that the following set of numbers, which is a month, is a number from 1 to 12. And that there is a reasonable 4-digit number that is being entered. That's all that is checking for. So this is not checking to make sure that you enter the right date of birth. It's not checking to make sure that you enter the right date somebody got married or the day you got graduated. It just needs to meet that standard, that expectation. So again, it makes sure that the required field is also not left blank. That is validation. So again, validation checks if the data is acceptable, but it does not guarantee that the data is correct. Hence why now we need something called verification. Now, verification is a process of checking that the data has been entered accurately by comparing it with the original source. That is why you perhaps will be asked, let's say you are changing your password. First thing it says is enter new password. Then it says re-enter new password. It is then verifying that what you enter the first time is what you intend to enter the second time. So therefore, this one is about correctness, all right? And that process is actually called double entry. All right. So with double entry, data is entered twice and compared to make sure that it is correct. Now, another way that we can verify information is through visual check. You physically open up your eye and look. A person compares the data that is entered with the source document. Some people job are just to do that. Look and make sure that the teacher entered the correct grade that the student got on the exam. That what is entered in the system is what the student is actually supposed to get. That is called visual check. Right? There's another one which I speak about called proofreading, where you read over to make sure there are what? No grammar, no error, no misspelling, all of those. So that is what we call verification. So these two techniques are necessary when it comes on to checking if information is accurate. Now, let's look at the different types of checks that are out there. Different types of check. You will need to know different types of check. This is multiple choice exam, and it could also come on paper too. So I want to pay attention to it. So range check, all right? This one ensures that a value is within a specified range. And here's an example. A student marks must be between 0 and 100. So the moment you begin to enter that student gets 150%, it should give you a wrong, right? Because the maximum a student can get is 100, and the lowest a student can get is 0. Here's another example. When it comes on to the age of people alive, we believe that the oldest you can live in this time is the age Moses lived to, which is 120. And of course, the lowest would have been A1 in terms of age. We might have to make some exception for the little toddlers we're born, all right? But ideally, it's a range. So a starting point to an end point. That is what we regard as range check, all right? Cool. Are there any questions? Any questions? Anything not clear? All right, good, cool. Let's move, let's keep it moving. The other check that you need to be clear about is called reasonableness check. Now, this one checks whether the data entered is logical or realistic, right? So here's an example. If I enter somebody's age as 250, that no make no sense. That just not logical. Not in this time. We never living at the time of Melchizedek and Adam and Eve. So nobody now lives so long again. All right, cool. And again, for a test score, if somebody entered, a student get 500%. Wrong. Them wrong, and strong. Right? Because the highest a student should be able to get is 100%. Then this one now quite related more to programming, which is data type check, programming and database, that is. So this one just ensure that you're entering the correct type of data. So if we're expecting you to enter the date, the program is to check to make sure that you're entering the date, and if you're entering something else, it should flag up in red and tell us that something is wrong. Right? Salary, they expect you to enter numbers. And so if you enter letters, it should automatically tell you that something is wrong. That's not what we expect. All right. And then we have something called consistency check. Now, this one work a little bit like what we call verification. All it does is ensure that the related data items agree with each other. So for example, if you say that you're single on a farm, the spouse name field should be left empty. So you can't be single. And then when you reach down a spouse part, you put Tom and Harry. Something is wrong with that. All right, here's another one. If you already said on the form that your gender is a male, then when you go down on the part where you say, are you pregnant? There's no way you should be ticking yes, right? It just don't work. Yes, it's not consistent with reality. Cool. Next. Then we have something called presence check. Now, most online forms have this one, where simply it ensures that you do not leave the form or that particular space blank. You have to enter something inside of it. Here's an example. A name or ID field must be completed before submitting a form. All right. Sometimes we do that when we are doing online exams. We make it mandatory that you have to choose an answer before you can click submit or before you can move on. So that is presence check at work. Now, format check. Now, this one ensures that the data is entered in the correct structure or pattern. And let's look at date. So we want you to enter the first 2 digits, and that must be the day. The next 2 digits will be the month, and 4 digits after that will be the year. That is format check. Any violation to this rule should give you an error. It should stop you from moving forward. Same thing with an email. You actually have a format check that is checking when you try to send an email. Because if you write the email address without an @ sign, it should tell you it's an error, it's an improper address, because there cannot be an email address without an @ sign. And then we have what is called a length check. And this one is just ensuring that it has the acceptable or the expected number of characters or digits. Let's say, for example, most of you, when you're creating your password, if you try to create a password that is less than 8 characters, it should tell you that it's not storing, it's not allowing you to, because someone set up a length check and say that your password should be no less than 8 characters. All right. We also have ID number. It could be that you attend a school that they give ID numbers. The school decides that we are going to set it in our system that an ID number should be no less than 6 digits. All right. And that is what we want. In Jamaica, how many digits are in TRN? How many digits are on your TRN? Where's the people who are up to date with their facts? I can't believe it. Hello? How many?
9.
9.
Yeah.
369. Why do I? Oh, it's digits, Mr. Right? How
Yes.
many characters are in it? How many characters? So we want 9 digits. How many characters? Ain't nobody talking. Them not talking. How many, guys? How many? All right. 1, 1, 2, and then what come next? Hello? How many people them? You not talk to me? Huh? You not talk to me. Them not talking to me. 1. How many characters this people? Hello? One, 2. Remember that in this case, these are also characters, right? So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So if they're using presence check, they should be checking that you're entering no less than 11 characters. All right, cool. What about phone number? How many characters for phone number? Jamaican phone number, that is. Guys, I'm getting scared. Nobody's talking. I'm afraid.
I want to say 13 characters.
13.
Yeah, because you know brackets.
Equi check. So it starts with 1. No, that look like you're wrong. What come after the plus?
1.
Yeah. That answer 2. So 8.
I forgot the +1, to be honest. Yeah.
Oh, why I can't type again? Right? Oh, I must say that. Right, so 1. And then you have one bracket. Then you have 8, 7, 6, 2. Look at me guessing Jade's phone number. 2.
Yeah, already far off. So just stop it.
9, 6. No, me close.
Not even a little bit.
8, 0. Let's see how much this now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15.
Yeah, I forgot the +1.
Yeah, there you go. So 15 characters, there you go. So if you are doing presence check and you wanted to guarantee that you want the people to type it accurate, you would leave out or set it to be that amount. All right, let's move to the next one. So next thing we want to talk about, as I said, we want to look at the verification methods that are there. I lightly spoke about them earlier, but I want to just, reiterate because them say good memory, repeat for our memory. So with verification, there are 2 methods that persons normally use. We have double entry, and this is where you enter the data twice and the computer compares. So that's in the case of like entering your phone, your maybe your password, and then you have to enter it again. There you go. Visual check, as I said, this is where a person manually compare the data that is entered with the original document. And that is also another type of verification. All right, so your examination curriculum requires you to know the difference between double entry and visual check. So you want to make sure you know that. So again, double entry, the computer do the checking. Make sure so where you enter twice the same. Whereas with visual check, you manually have someone checking the data that was entered into the computer if it matches what is entered on the original document. Now, this happens especially in sales department, yeah? If someone is write up an invoice manually, that same person will want to make sure that what they enter on the computer is what is actually on there, because you want to make sure that you can account for your boss money. All right. So that's something that people do without even realizing. All right. As a teacher, you might do that as well. You enter the student grade, you want to look back at the test paper to make sure that the student actually got 10 out of 40, because that student might come and say, but I got 10 on my paper and you only put 8. So that's wrong. You know, you want to make sure that that is done. Because if you don't, it might look unprofessional as well. Look like you're not clear as to what you're supposed to do. All right. Another one that we mentioned is proofreading. And now this one is the process of carefully reviewing a document or a data to identify and correct errors. I am sure that all of you have done this from time to time. Now, in this explanation, you guys need to be clear as to what is the difference between typographical errors and transpositional errors. So let's look at them. So typographical error is what we call typo. I mean, you type and you press one extra key or one less key, something like that. So this occurs when a wrong letter, number, or symbol is accidentally typed. And here are some examples. So I am trying to write the, but I wrote TEH. That's a very common one. As a matter of fact, the computer by default normally correct you, especially if you're using a Word document for that one. But yeah, it's what we call a typographical error. Or if you're typing here, computer, instead of typing, you type computre. All right. So this is a mistake that is caused by typing. And we call that typographical. Now, transposition error, slightly different. This occurs when characters, numbers, or letters are accidentally reversed or swapped. So this has to do with the position. So if you notice here, 63, but you should have actually written 36. Okay? Or in this case, we could argue that this is also transpositional, because this here is also transpositional in a sense because it's still EH. This is also still transpositional because the characters are in the wrong place. Nevertheless, they are typo. Over on this part, you wrote form instead of from. But if you look at the position of the R and the O, it is in the wrong order. So this is what we consider to be transposition errors. Can I ask you, before we move on, to go ahead in the chat and write down your typographical error and your transpositional error? Yeah, in the chat, please. In the chat. Chat, 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 chat. Oh, no, Miss Sally. Hold on, my students are mute tonight. Sixty. Is that transposition or typo? And if you tell me which one is that type, yeah, me not like for no. Ain't nobody going to the multiple choice question and circle the wrong one. So please to tell me if it is transposition or it is typographical. Please don't let me guess.
All right, sir. So the first one is typographical for me, and the second one is transpositional.
Okay. So what were you trying to write with the TRUN?
Turn.
Turn. Okay, good. So that's transpositional. And the other one is typo. What you did actually want for type?
Right.
Okay, so it's missing an I. Well done. Good. Next person. Come, Ashani, explain to me. But tired of read.
Okay, so for seats I put STI instead. The I and the T swapped places, so it's transpositional because instead of the I being after the S, the T is now after it.
Okay. And what is the hypographical? All right, Malik, nice, good typo. Well done. I like that, Malik. Good, well done, Adam. See, the boys are representing, you know. I know some people fighting the boys, what they are representing. Well, Finn, typo, fun, right. Well done, Katrina. Well done. Where's Deandra, by the way? Deandra think we have forgotten her?
Sir, I'm typing it, sir. I'm not trying to escape.
Okay, all right, just making sure. just making sure. All right, so we have about 20 minutes now. We want to close off now by talking about different file access method. And when we talk about this, we just have to look at ways to access files. Now, I did see one of these questions come on the multiple choice question the last time we were doing our multiple choice practice. And yeah, some people get it, some people never get it right. So we want to make sure we cover that so we close that gap, right? Cool. So there are really 4 different methods, yeah, of accessing file. We need to remember it. We have sequential. Basically, the word sequential comes from which word? Where are my language experts?
Repeat, sir.
Which word does sequential comes from?
Sequence.
Nice, and what sequence mean?
To put in an order.
Right. So when we are talking about access, what do you think you mean? You access the file in?
Alphabetical order.
Yeah, not necessarily alphabetical, but definitely in a certain order. All right, but well done there. So let's go and talk about it then. No? So this was what we got on the multiple choice question. I think it was an array that they asked you if you were accessing it in sequential order. How would you get to 999? And the answer was you would start from 1 to 998, something like that. Cool. So in sequential access, records are stored and accessed in order, all right? One after the other. It's like how we used to have traditional filing system. If you walk into any office now, if they store manual, you know, if they store your, let's say, student files manually, you would definitely put students' name in a certain order, whether it's alphabetical order or it's chronological order in terms of maybe what year group. Is it year 7, year 8, year 9, year 10, blah, 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 blah. When you are storing it in that order, you'd expect to search through to find something in that exact order. So that's kind of like what sequential access is. So to find a record, the system must read through. So we are talking about it from a technological perspective now. You're not talking about it like from, you know, from a manual perspective, but rather from technology. So the system would read through the previous records first. So what that means is that if I'm trying to find employee number 20, that's why it's not always alphabetical order, right? Ashane, it's not always alphabetical order, could be numerically, yeah? So to find employee number 20, the system would read from 1 to 19 to find employee number 20. So it would start at the very first one up to the one that it is looking for. And that is called sequential access. Now, this is beyond your curriculum, but you could realize that this method of accessing files can be very long, right? Let's say you had 2 million persons' records stored in a computer, and Jade named a number 1,576,000. Can you just imagine how many records that system is going through before it finds Jade? Jade can go sleep, get up, comb her hair, watch a movie, go back to sleep, go to school, come back, and the system still not find our file because it has to go through from beginning to the point that it is actually looking for. All right, cool. Yeah. Anytime you have to associate any trouble, I just jadating that. You just know a she that. Yeah. Cool. Let's go on to serial access. Now, with serial access, the records are stored in the order they are received without sorting. All right. So that kind of sound now. Let me tell you an example of that. Last week I was marking some students' homework, and the student who turn in their homework first was the student who actually get their homework marked last. I mean, I think that fair. Because ultimately, because his is at the bottom and I'm marking from the top, me and him last get mark. You know what I mean? So with serial, the records are stored in the order they are received without sorting. So records are accessed one by one. So no particular order is required, right? So it could be a system where, you know what I mean, the last file that is entered into the system is the file that is accessed first. We call it first in, no, we go. Yeah, last in, first out, right? So it's the last file that is submitted is accessed first. So we see where that happens. Another example could be an employee records are entered randomly. They are stored when in that same order, right? And so the files are accessed in the order that it was entered, all right? Are we good? Any question? No question. All right, cool. So now we're going to talk about something called direct access, which is much better. I think this one is fair. So in direct access, the records can be accessed directly using a key or address without reading the previous records. So let's use for an example. We don't care how them store Jade name in a Westwood database. If we know Jade ID number, we just enter Jade ID number and it just pull up all our record. Now that one have to be much better than sieving through millions of files, or the fact that you enter your thing first, yours is accessed last. That's not fair. So direct is a little bit more fair. You just go straight to the file that you're actually looking for. Another example could be if you go to the airport, obviously you go there and you can't find, let's say you're not able to book in or you couldn't find certain information. The first thing the person is going to ask you, what is your passport number? What are you doing? They are going straight to your file. They're pulling your file up based on your passport number so they can verify whatever you're asking for. Imagine if they had to sift through everybody who book in on the plane to find your data. Just maybe the plane and I left you. So that is why, in my judgment, direct access is much better. And then we have the last one, which is random access, right? Random, as the word suggests, random. So in random access, any record can be retrieved immediately without following a sequence. So it's quite similar to direct access. It uses a record address or index, all right, to find it. I'll give an example. For those of you who have done database, you know so you enter on the primary key and all of that. So that's kind of like random at work. So for example, an ATM retrieves your account information instantly. But how does it retrieve it? It retrieves it because there's some unique index that is attached to your file, right? And so ultimately it is found. So as I get ready to end on this final note is to talk about different application areas. Your examiner expects us to help you to distinguish between these three, all right? So one is archiving, all right? So sequential or serial access is used. So if me an archive file, I put on a long time, right? The way to access it is using serial or sequential. All right, remember again, sequential means that you go through the file in the ordered store or serial. No, yeah, in the order. Yeah, in the order it was stored, right? And serial means that you are going to access it based on probably the last file that was actually entered. All right. Now, what this means is that data is stored mainly for long-term storage and reference, and obviously it does not need frequent updating. So this is why this makes sense. You're not gonna need to go to those files. The reason why you archive it is because it's not immediately needed. So when Johnny left Westwood, yeah, them are going to archive all our file. It's not a file that the teachers are going to be expected to engage with forever. So until she come back and I ask for certain file proofs that she did attend Westwood, or she did last her exam paper and she want to know what did her exam result, no one will need to be able to go through those files. All right, and that is why, because of the type of access is going to take longer day. That's why they're going to tell us you have to apply for about 2 weeks. You can't come in an emergency. And even if you come in an emergency, Jade, guess what? You have to pay a little extra because somebody's going to have to dedicate themselves to walk through Westwood old file to find your files. You see what I'm saying? All right, cool. Next, we have payroll file. All right, so this is another application, another way how we use these types of access. So the payroll file, often again, this is done in sequential access. So employee records are processed one after another during the payroll runs. All right, so it just means, you know what I mean, maybe in an order in which your name fall, is school decide to pay you. All right, so some people get paid first, them file process first, and that just could be because of, you know, the name in terms of alphabetically, or it could just be based on the number of years they have been working for the organization. All right, so maybe them pay the person who is least senior, the teacher who just joined the school first, and then pay the teacher who they work for 40 years last, that kind of stuff. So that's sequential. Now, in terms of direct and random, as we said, the ATM uses this style, airline booking system uses this style. If you go to the tax office, them use the style, they might ask you, tell me a TRN number so I can find you. If you go to the electoral office and you ask for your ID, they might ask you, tell me your date of birth so I can find your file. All right. So those things are used. Okay. I'm done. Are there any questions for more? Nobody? Can't believe. Nobody? Nobody? All right. That means I'm going to do about 4 multiple choice questions. And we wrap up today. 4 multiple choice. 4 multiple choice. Because we don't know time is precious. We have to be ready for our exam. Straight A profile, we say. You know. Anything else, me I go cuss. So go ahead, my friends, get out your pens and paper and write down the answers to these questions. Make sure you write down your answers. So we see how much you get out of 12. Remember, so I can't see nobody face, you know. So I just like randomly move on, you know. It's like how nobody not talk and nobody not say nothing. I just like move on. All right, when me feel like a time. Where they must say, never die. All right, next. Make sure the mark on the answer now. So the first one there is C. Number two, data that has been processed and has meaning is termed as information. Yeah. Next, which of the following can be termed application software? That's Internet Explorer. And next, which of the following activities would not be considered as cloud storage? And that is B, data stored and accessible on a LAN. Remember that a LAN is really usually a wireless, a wired network, something like in a lab or in an office. Okay, next. Write down your answers, please. All right, ready to move on? So number 5, which of the following could not be classified as a cloud-based application? D, Windows operating system. Number 6, the lights in a room turn on as soon as a person enters. Which input device likely controls? Obviously, that have to be a sensor. The next, which of the following devices is used to input data into a computer? It can be monitor, it cannot be USB, and it cannot be external hard drive. So it must be a mouse. For which of the following interface types is the user required to remember specific instructions and syntax? All right? When you don't know, say a command line that, command driven. One more. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. All right, let's go. Issue number 9, the most suitable printer for creating the model of the globe is, as you know, a 3D printer. 10, the RP secondary school wants the administration staff to have access to all student and teacher data. Which of the following networks would most suitable to enable such success? That is going to be a LAN. The symbol up above represent, you all know, Wi-Fi, wireless fidelity. And finally, unauthorized real-time interception of a private communication on a computer network is referred to as, boom, electronic eavesdropping. All right, this is where we stop. What was your score?
Sarah only got one wrong.
Got one wrong. Okay,
Yeah.
Adam got 10 this time. Nice. Yeah. Ashney, 12. Malik, 12. Nice. Nice. Deandra, 11. Moving closer to perfection. 11. Where Katrina there? Katrina, where they want you? How much you get? All right, there you go, there you go, there you go. All right, so definitely next week we'll continue to look through this. As I said, next week we'll be looking at trace table. Just need to check again and see if you guys need to know truth table, but I'll definitely be doing trace table next week. Yeah, and of course I will post this lesson that we covered today under a topic called information processing. So you will have the information available in the classroom. Plus, I don't know, say it recorded already and it is on YouTube. So you can always go look upon it again. All right. So thank you guys for coming. Everyone can start signing out except Ashani. Ashani can't go nowhere. Ashani.
Oh, Shashani. Bye.
Yeah. Bye-bye. Take care. Enjoy on the weekend. Ashley,
Yes, sir.
when my work then? I'm not get my work yet.
Sir, I did email last night.
When me not get not one email.
No, sir, I emailed it.
I'm gonna make sure I send them an email again so you can send it to the right email because me not get nothing. Me check all before you come to the class right away and me no work. And me no want after walk and complain. Give me work.
Oh, it's in sent though.
Me email there. Send me me work.
Sir, but it's the same email that you used.
Yeah, then me no know me not get it. Me not get it.
Let me check if it's in my outbox.
Me no get none.
Let me just resend it.
Me no get none.
Okay, sorry, check if it's there now.
Refresh. Refresh. Nope. So I'm waiting. Me wait a little. Yeah, finally.
Okay, sir. It was in Outbox.
Okay. So this is the brochure, the Excel, one to my database.
Yes, sir, I was looking for it, but I can't find it back. I did
What you
finish
mean?
it though.
What you mean? So when you go and get it done? When you that. When you gonna get it done?
So I was gonna do back the website today and enter the programming, and then after that I would go back to that. But I had it saved on the laptop, so I honestly don't know where it is.
Okay. All right. Did you, for your brochure, did you use color? Look at it. For the brochure, why didn't you use let's look at what this is. Yeah, why didn't you turn it landscape?
Sir, because the document that you gave us said to put it on portraits. I had it on landscape first, but then I reread it and it said portraits.
It says so?
Yes, sir. That's why I had to turn it back and fix it.
Let me look funny, I see. Let me look. I wonder why me not say something like that. Why me? Why me? Because in reality, brochures are normal horizontal.
Yes, sir, I had it that way, but then I read back over the paper and I saw it as portraits. I had to turn it back.
Let me look again and see. Because, let me just make sure I didn't make a typo error, typographical error. Let me look for it. Where's my Here is the SB. It's way down the bottom, probably. School-based assessment. Down. One, two. Word. Oh, sure. After I not see it, I wish part it says something. Create an impressive letterhead in the header of your word processor for the Swantastic banking and loan portfolios. All documents must use the letterhead to represent the business. Okay, we know about that. Save as SB and LP letter as a means to inform the public of SB and LP's 20th anniversary special promotion on the business letterhead using letter size paper and no, where you really see it then a B? You looking at the paper now?
Yes, sir.
Me say, look on the 2A, 1B. Mine say, landscape orientation and margin set at left and right 2 inches, top and bottom 1.5.
So I'll turn it back around.
Yeah, man, but you need to change the margins too. So you see what margin say? Look, just read all of that line. The margin needs to be 2 inches left and right. And then the top and bottom needs to be 1.5. All right.
Yes, sir. I have it on 2 and 1.5, but the thing is that mine is in centimeters and I did not realize.
All right. So we have to make sure we fix that. And then here's the other thing now. A brochure can't be just one side. You need to have a back and front. So you need to get some more information on it, right? Find some picture, no man. You can use you can use AI to generate the image, you know. So give AI your logo and the name of the place and just maybe just generate some people, you know, like people wear the uniform for the company, you know what I mean? And maybe you have some picture like that on your thing, because you need to have images on there as well, you know.
Okay, sir.
And look what other information you can add to your thing that you're doing, so that, you know, feel free to change even the background color if you want, stuff like that. Yeah, because what you're being assessed for in Word is that you're using all of the techniques. So if you look in the bit there, if you look at it, it says ensure that your information is presented by including your document table. Right? So you need to find a way how to get a table. Can you put the rates in a table, for example? Yeah. And you need to make sure the table is bordered and that the cell them shade, some of them, and that you put color. So these are the things you are being marked for. So you want to make sure that you have them in the information, all right? Use pictures. As I said, nowadays there's nothing we say you can't use AI generate the pictures or find pictures online. So yeah. Also, it requires you to use different font styles, different font size, different font color. You need to use things like bold, underline, italics, alignment, line spacing, subscript, superscript, page numbering. So you see all those features that you see are being mentioned needs to be included in there for you to get the full points for it. All right. Okay.
Okay, sir.
And then I'm also looking at the font that you are using. Yeah, the body of it cannot be font 18, but the heading is 16. See, it is better for the heading to be bigger than the body, right? So yeah, man, use whatever resource available to you to see what other information you can put together on this so that it full out and it looks scanty, because as it is now, it look like you run out of some words. So you decide to bold it up so you can fill the space. And it's going to be obvious. You don't want that. You want your thing to be. Get some pictures and put at different places so that you can put information on different part. So like all with the part where the special promotion, it's good if you have, I don't know, one nice something we create some form of image or something will make it look stylish and look, you know. So look back at some other brochures, some real brochures out there, and see how you could probably include that in yours. But you need to make sure. See, I like these exchange rates should be in a table itself. Okay.
Okay, sir. I'm making the changes now.
All right. You don't have to rush to kill yourself, but you need to just work on it and get to me. Let me quickly look at the Excel. Mm. And all right. Ashini, how many applicants should be in the application table?
Sir, can you repeat?
How many applicants should be in your application table? That's for Excel. Let's take a look at Excel.
Sir.
How much in yours? How much is in yours?
Wait, so let me go back on the document. Six, sir.
We're having problems. You need to have 30 applications on there. So there needs to be 30. And there are a couple of things that needs correcting slightly as well. Yeah, because here you have 6, and you need to have 30 of them for that. All right, let's read a little bit more and see what else we should include. Right, so let's see. All right, so I'm looking at Write this out again. Let's look what else we'll be checking for. So then they say to you that your gross annual income should be between 1.25 and 3. So let me just check that to make sure that's there good. Should be between 1.25 and 3. All right, so far that criteria is being met, with the exception that we need to work on the other stuff. So then they say you have to calculate the monthly income, and that's obviously, well, good. So that's that divided by 12, so that's fine. Formula is good there. Next thing they ask you to do is to do the monthly expenses. So it says calculate using 15% of the monthly income. That is going to be 15 divided by the month. No. How we go? 15 divided by 100 times the month income. That would be it. For persons with less than. So here's a problem with this formula. You need a function for that because you have to use an if function for this. Are you with me? Hello?
Yes, sir.
All right, so this needs to be an if function. So that would be if, and they say that if the person has what? Less than, or if their monthly income for persons with annual income. So the annual income would be over here, that's L, right? So that would be L3. So if L3 is less than that 2.25,
2.25, yes, sir.
so we need to have, so how would that work out in a millions?
2,250,000.
How may I write that?
22500.
Says it's 2245 and that was
00.
60, that not too much.
No, sir, not 60.
A 2.2.
Sir, 4 zeros.
Yeah, 40. Okay. Then that's comma. Because that should be an if function. Because you want it to be applicable. All right. So so that is always giving us that because it is not more than that. So let's see what should it be if it is not, if they are not more than 15% of monthly income for persons with annual income less than 2.5. Good. And then we should do what? 25%.
Yes, sir.
So that would be
Or more
20
than.
over 100. So is it 25 over 100 times the monthly income. Monthly income is in which times?
M.
That would be M.
N. It's in
N3.
N.
N3. I feel like the party are wrong. I don't know.
Yes, sir, because it'll be if again.
25 and then put times N3, which is that. I'm gonna feel like one next bracket figure right so. So tell me if that look right now. Use a calculator and check. So if it is less than, it should be what? 15%. If it's more than. So did we get? So that would mean that we need to find 15% of 1.1980. Yeah? Is that working out to be the right number?
No,
Not right?
no, sir.
No, L3. Hold on, man. Listen, this says our formula, because they say, let's make sure we get it. They say if the gross income, isn't that it? Calculate 15% of the monthly income for persons with annual income. That would be, isn't that the gross annual income, right? Which is in L. So if their salary is less than 2.25, look at this. This is 1980, so that's less than, right? So it should work out 15% of this value. So what is 15% of 165?
Sir, I have 22,700, sorry, 24,750.
For that?
Yes, sir.
So let's check where our formula is reading. 15 over 100 times 165 0 0 0. Right, you should get 24,000. So we need to figure where in the formula is wrong. Let's check it again. If this is less than 225, slide that, comma, then you must do 15 divided by 100 times N3. Let's put a bracket there. Could be bad mass. And then still saying that 15 over 100. All right. And what would have been, let me see what this doing.
Sir, can we replace the 15 over 100 to 0.15?
We could and see what happens. So it would be 0.15. Yeah, it does change the value for some reason. So that's what yeah, so something is wrong with either our numbers. So 0.25 multiply. Let's do that. It's still, for some reason, L3. Isn't this L3? No, L3 is here. Oh, see
No,
it
sir, the
is
top
isn't
is
M. Your Ella confused me. And that's why. It says M, right? It says M3. Says if M3 is less than what?
2.25.
Okay. See why a problem says M3, N3. Gotcha. All right. I'm gonna put back my long formula because me like make sure they know say, hey yo, we know what we're doing. 100. So that is divided by that. Good. And then this now is 25 divided by 100. And then that put a bracket right there. So and then feel like what on what have I done wrong? Oh, N3. I'm not N3. Yeah, it's N3. So what problem? Oh, who put times there? So it'll be comma, and then that would be there. Um, 10 over 100 times N3, that should be comma, right? That should be bracket,
So
comma.
it's 15.
Yeah.
15 over 100.
Which is right. 15 over 100 times N3, 25 over 100, N3. So where's the bracket? What is the fooling around? So that bracket should be here. And then this bracket should close off. Do I need to have a bracket here? So let's see all the brackets. This bracket close here. Let me do that. I'll put a bracket right there. So. And then another bracket here to close that bracket. So toop, 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 and then this bracket person need to close. So finally, there you go. And then, yeah. So that's how that formula should work. Because you need to show that you're checking if it's less than.
Okay, sir.
You're correcting it on yours?
Yeah.
If not, I'll just email this back to you, but yeah, so you can continue working. All right? So then we move on to talking about the branch. So that's the formula. The branch says enter only ligani, blah, blah, blah. So you got that, that's good. Then you need to do account type. There's account type.
Go over.
Oh, so it's over on this side. Okay. All right, so that's fine. And then now, the next thing that they have asked you to do is branch address, which we see, so that point is fine. Then you need to put in a credit score. The credit score. So students should type in random. So where's the credit score?
So it's under the first
Here.
right
So now you need to write a random one. So if it's going to be 687, you just need to be 687. You think
Okay,
this?
so I was trying to follow the I thought I should have a range for it.
No, man. Yeah. So all credit score go is just that if the person fall in that range, them are very poor. Or if them fall in that range. But you are the one who is giving them the range you want them to fall in. So you're giving them what their number is. In this case, 765. I'm gonna know 77, for example. But this price is going to get denied, so it need to be lowered. So let's say it's 400, 490. Cool. So what it just mean is that this is what you're going to use to determine if they're good or not. Now, next thing on there, they say that application status, so only approve or deny, will be dependent on the credit score. So this here needs to be a formula. So here's again, you're going to be using the if formula. So if, so who are the people who should get approved? What credit score? Good and up?
Fair.
So if the score is between poor and fair, persons are denied, which means if it is good and above, it is approved. So what that simple means is then you're going to choose here, and you're going to do if greater than or equal to 720, which is that you are going to set this to approve. Looks like you want to use all caps, so let's do that. Approved. And then if not, you want to put denied. All right. So all of this is being done by a formula itself. Once you've done this, you can copy this down to the rest. And that is going to give you approve. And notice that's based on here. Capiche?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now, next thing now is the amount that is requested. They say the amount requested, which is in the loan rate table you're going to look at. You should only type in one of the 6 amounts.
Can you repeat?
We're looking at the loan amount. Where is your loan amount here? Is it loan request? Is that this, yeah?
Yes, sir.
And they said to do it manually. So you need to make sure that these rates are these. So is it 750? Let's look. So make sure they are consistent with these. Have you done that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. All right. From here now, they want you to work out the loan tenure. This is between 3.5 years to a maximum of 6 years. This looks
Yes,
all
sir.
right. Cool. Next thing now is we are going to the rates. Okay, so you have is a VLOOKUP to do that. So monthly repayment. So the monthly repayment is if them approve. So that needs to be our kind of function.
If.
Right. So you'll be missing a lot of points in these errors if you don't fix them. So it's if. So if, and we need to look now, which column have approved? This one, right? So let's say we say if S3, if S3 is equal to approved, comma, that is what they should work out based upon your formula. If not, the monthly repayment should be 0 because them not take no money. So let's check these to make sure that this formula here is correct. So monthly payment, it should be the amount requested. Is that T3, right?
Yes, sir.
It's the amount requested multiplied by, it's plus, not multiply, isn't it plus? There's an amount requested, there's a plus sign there, it should be plus, and then there's a bracket. There's an amount requested plus, in bracket, the amount requested. The amount requested is what again? It's not T3. Hmm? Hmm? Hello?
Sir, can you repeat, please? The internet froze up a minute.
All right, so you're following me with the the project printout, right?
Yes, sir.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. So let's look at the formula for monthly repayment, because that's what we're trying to figure out. So they say it should be the amount requested. According to your file, that is going to be T3. Correct? T3 plus open bracket T3. And then what else do you need? T3. Multiply by the rate. And the rate is going to be this one. Is that U3? Good. U3. U3. You need a bracket right here. Divide the loan tenure in months. And you put 66. How do I know the loan tenure?
Them.
So that means this is not right then, because the rate of V3. So this should be T3 multiplied by V3. It's not the rate. So that should have been V3. And then the loan rate isn't this one.
Yes, sir, but that's per year. So it'd be by the amount of months. So 5 times 5 plus the other 5 months. No, plus other 6 months.
You know, that's why
5
you have
times
to,
12 plus other 6 months.
you know, that's why you have to work out the maths that you can't work in your head. You have to do it. So what would be, it would be 5 times 5 by 12.
No,
Is that what
sir,
you said?
5 times 12 plus 6, because it's 5.5 years.
Right, how me work out that in the maths? It's 5.5 times
No,
what?
sir, the 5 years times 12, and then you'd plus 6 months to that.
So you would, so what would be the maths? Because we need to work the maths. So me have 5.5 years. How me work that in a month?
Sir, so 5 years, 12 years is in 12 months is in 1 year. So 5 times 12, that is 60, and then the half, which is just 6 months. So 60 plus 6, 66.
So hold on. Me can't just put 5.5 times 12.
No, sir, because that would be 25 times 12.
Oh, I wish me to stay in a maths class. The older me get, the worse my maths become. Because me I look upon this, hold on. Get out your calculator. So if I have, all right, 5.5 is that amount of years. And
Yes, sir,
each of
5.5 years.
So when we multiply 5.5 times 12, no 66 me we get.
No, sir, 5 times 5 is 25, and then if you multiply that by 12, it's 300.
No, sir. Check it. Get your
Sir,
calculator.
sir, remember that the point 5, no, sir,
Get
the point
get
5 is 6 months,
get
because
your,
half of a year is 6 months.
no, sir. Get your calculator and type in 5.5 multiplied by 12. Get your calculator.
Oh, sir, 5.5, I thought you said that 5 times 5 times 12.
No, sir. No work, we are work the maths. We
No, sir,
want to try and
that was what I heard, sir. That's why I was saying no, it would be 5 times 5 times 12.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. 5.5 times 12 is 66.
Okay, good. So that means to say, you young people are trying to confuse old people. Let's move it.
No, sir, I
So,
wasn't hearing properly.
you never hear properly. It's all right. So, hold on then. Know that we have the policy. Yes. So it should be the amount requested plus open bracket, the amount requested again multiplied by the rate, multiplied by the tenure, and then you have two brackets at the end. Never so they want to fill. Let's do that. We'll fix this. So if approved, T3, open bracket, T3 times V3, which is the rate. Then no most man, you have to have one bracket right there, someone. He said, what a going? You should have a bracket right there. So. Then now you're going to divide it. You're going to divide it by the tenure, which is U3 times that. And then this year I go close off the bracket up as well. All right. Check if that were right for me on yours. Okay, if it give you the right answer. I mean, no one say. So let's bring that down. Yeah, man. Now eat that. Now eat that.
Yes, sir.
All right. So we need make sure you get the right formulas in for you to get those full points. Move to the next one. All right. So the next thing they ask us to do, and look at it, they told you to use an if function here. There's a tip, it says if functions. You have to use it, or else you wouldn't get the points. So next, they want us to find the total monthly expenses. So which column that they know for? That's this one. And they have given us a formula. They have said they are going to be adding the monthly expenses to the monthly repayment. So whichever your column have monthly expenses. All right.
All three.
Which one? O3? Look on.
Yes, sir.
Weird on this one. All right, O3. And which one now have monthly repayment? That W3, right? Here,
So
right?
W.
Nice.
Yes, sir.
Right, so that formula would be correct here. So that's good. Okay, let's now move to checking the next formula. Good. So it says total net income is the difference between the monthly income and the total monthly expenses. So which column has your monthly? This one, yeah? So that's N3.
Yes, sir.
And your monthly payment, which one has that? X.
X3.
Okay, good. So that formula is correct right there. So you cannot do your database until you finish this, or else you're going to find yourself in problems. So this needs to be finished first.
Yes, I'm gonna have to make the corrections back
So now I'm going to send you about this, So all you're going to have to do is keep working on this because the formulas are in place already. At least you know that. So you just need to copy them down.
Yes, sir.
Right, so let's go on to the next page now on the SPA to see what else you're expected to do. It says in an appropriate row on the spreadsheet, you're going to enter total applicant sample. I see yours, but I think I put it to the side. Feel like I'm gonna put this to the side, no? No, just feel so. So we're going to extract it for now and put it over here. Why? Because you're going to have more data to enter. And so ideally it would be better to be elsewhere. Let me put it there. So, cool. So I'm look at this. All right, so put it over here, so I'll just make it a separate table. Let's just do and then do that. So why did I drop over here? So? Oh, I did drop over there. Yeah, here we go. That's better. That's better. Okay, cool. Let's pull that over. So the next thing is you have done that already. You're putting a total. So now it says to start this thing in ascending order. But you see, enough things we have to do, You can't make up some people name. Make up some people name, give me that. As kind of iffy.
Jasmine.
So our first name we had first. Jasmine. Jasmine. God. Jasmine. Come, give me some. Give me some name. Give me some name.
Brittany L. Walters.
Name.
No, Kellyanna Wright. P. Wright. Kellyanna P. Wright.
Give me some name.
Amika W. Chang. Henry S. Chang. Caitlin R. Stanford. Julia K. Robinson. Justin B. Evans. Elvis W. Jackson. Trina B. Sims. Elaine B. Thompson. Matthew L. Lawrence. Anthony K. Smith. Colin K. Campbell.
How much that mean?
So I need one more.
Mhm.
Johnson.
Right. What me want to do now, I get like just the numbers so I can show you how to do the sorting, and then you can filter in the rest of those in there. Time is up on us.
Isn't it just the A to Z
For the what? The sort?
or the sorting? Yes, sir.
No, the more you have to do it by 2 levels. So I'm gonna do a little bit more than that. All right, so me leave that for you to finish format how you want that part. I think we need to put in some money, like, because you're gonna need to can approve them. I think so. We're gonna need that. Definitely, gonna need this. All right, just give me some number there.
331. 787. 873.
Mm-hmm.
951.
You can't go higher than that. What was the rate?
Wait, so take out the 873.
Yeah.
849.
And then
Then 801.
821. Mhm.
341, 567,
Mhm.
615, 444, 591, 722, 737, 517, 327, 735, 822, 657, 576, 342, 651, and 781.
Done?
Yes, sir.
Okay. May not even did I realize. All right, so they did say we needed to take exact figures. Well, I need this to know if the or not. Oh, I get approved based on that. So I think we're right here. So, all right, so we'll try to score the points for the sorting here. Of course, the rest of the data I'm gonna need for just fill in for your for the formulas. You just need to copy them all the way. So, and and I fill them in, become easy. Here so. And put them in. Numbers in. All right, cool. So for the starting part of it, what you're expected to do. Oh, hold on there. Why you have them numbers there, so? Why you put a column for numbers?
Yeah, because it was on the original one.
No, because Excel by default give numbers. So these numbers are these over here. So that's why the account number did supposed to be in a A. So delete this. So these are the numbers on this side. Okay. All right, so the next thing that we need to do is to sort up to this point. So to sort it, you will need to select the entire table, right? So that's this over here, on this table, down to here, right?
Yeah.
Then when you go to data,
Yes.
is here. Click on data, then we select sort. Now, see the part here now we have to do. So look on the worksheet, yeah? On the worksheet, we are now on page, yeah. That's a page with additional requirements. And that's the last page for Excel. So if you see the sort is number 1 there. It says sort the table in ascending order by application status. So on here, you're going to go, oh, so here's a problem. It now pick up the sorting name them. It now view these as headings. Let's see. Oh, probably me know why we put A up at top. That they're gonna be that I just a letter them up at top, so you don't need to repeat that. Let's remove that. Don't need this, so we'll do delete. Not delete, one delete. Oh, where's delete? Delete is here. Arrow. All right, so don't need that. So we will do this again. So click on data, click on sort. Let's see see it now? See it at work, yeah. So now they say you are going to sort the table by application status. So you look for application status. That's that in ascending order. But then them say by last name as a secondary key. So to do that, you click add level here, and then you do by last name, which is that in as the secondary key. Once you have done that, you click on OK. Let's see if that did work. No, for some reason that not save. I'm not sure why. Maybe because I want to done everything, but let's try it again. So sort, let's do it again. By last name, by application status, then by last name. You can't change part of an array. Is it part may I change? I don't think it's part. Oh, I left off this part. Oh, let's try again. Sort, sending, then add level, and then do last name. Okay. Why is it saying part of an array? This is not part. I don't get that. Yeah. You can't change. The it's not allowing us to sort at the minute, so maybe what I'm gonna do is to type in the answers first and then try to sort it. But the way to do it is to go to here and then do the sorting. If I try to make it special values, it's going to remove the formulas, and I don't want to do that. So yeah, so finish this bit on there and then we'll see how that part goes. I think it's because it's tied to your pivot table. So that means you'll have to redo your pivot table. Is this meant to be a pivot table, yeah?
Yes, sir.
And yeah, you have to redo this as well when you're done. So I'm gonna
Okay,
send
sir.
this, I'm gonna send this to you so you can carry on working on it. There's only a few things to do in terms of technique. I think the last thing for you to do is to do a yeah, you know, to the chart size of yeah. Yeah, just pay attention to the last bit there where said this the heading should be font size 18, choose font style, blah blah. All those that you need to do.
Okay, sir.
Let's save this. And listen, keep working, keep me posted, no matter wait until the last minute.
Yes, sir.
Remember, I can't help you if you wait on the last minute, you know. It's better you let me know what's going on early. So you can get help if you need help, or at least know for sure that you're on track. As soon as you finish the Excel, send that across to me. I can have a look at it, work on the word. You were in that class last week when we did the mail merge. I think it was last week we did, yeah?
I already
So,
told you that when I was doing EDPM,
okay.
so I'm familiar with it.
All right, see, there you go. All right, so. Cool, except that you need to do it from the database. So make sure you kind of look back over last week's lesson and see
Okay, sir.
how you do it from the database. Which means you actually have to done the database to finish the merge. So that means you need to be working on the Excel to get it done. And then once the Excel done, move into doing it database. All right?
Okay, yes, sir.
Yeah, man. All right, take care. See you.